So I'm standing inside the Guinea Garden here, and this garden is inside the bird yard, the formal bird yard that has wire fencing. And then I also have a pasture which is hooked onto this, another half acre, which they're blocked off from right now. So you can see in the yard there, it gets pretty trampled, and you know, any little thing that might be coming up, they just chew it right down. So I created this garden in here because at first I did not have the pasture, I just had the yard. So I created this garden, but then I added on the pasture at least a couple years ago, maybe 3 years ago, so that helped a lot. But I still keep up on this, and I add to it, and I let them into this area twice in a season. I let them in till they chew it down pretty good, but not all the way, and then I block them out again, and hopefully they get another go at it later in the season. But what's in here is a lot of perennial herbs, and I have a lot of the leafy green type herbs. So these right here that you see with the big leaves is burdock, and these look like first year because they're pretty small. Burdock is a biennial, so it's a 2-year cycle, and if you're going to harvest the roots, you want to do it at the end of the first year. And I may come out here later and harvest some of these because they are first year plants. But anyway, I have found out through my observation and feeding a lot of burdock directly is it must offer a lot of protein, because it really promotes a lot of good feather growth. And so I'm really happy to learn that about it. And I have a lot of it, like nettles, around my property, which is good. So between the nettles and the burdock, I have a lot of good green plant material to give my birds to eat, and because I have so many, you know, that's perfect for me for the size flock I have. So most everything in here my birds eat. I do have a few herbs in here that are for me, and I'll have to block off. I had them blocked off. I took down the wire, and I'm going to put some more back up to protect. Two of those, one of the two is Schizandra that I have, and here's one right here you can see, and it's a viney plant, and it'll grow up the fence. But it took me a lot of years, at least 5 years of working with this plant to get it going, to get to learn about it, and finally 2 years ago I got Horizon Herbs to send me some bigger plants. You know, I tried to grow it from seed. I tried some smaller plants. I ordered from other places, and finally I went back to Horizon Herbs, and 2 years ago I guess I wrote some tearful emails, and they felt sorry for me, so Rico sent me some bigger plants 2 years ago, and so they're finally taking off. So last year we got a lot of rain, and that really seemed to help. So probably that was a lot of my issue, was not giving them enough water, because in this garden here I don't water. It's all run by nature. So I'm happy to see last year it started binding up the fence. So I don't know if I'll ever get the berries off of it, but hopefully I will. If the root system gets really established, you know, the plant can you know, get bigger and, you know, maybe produce some fruit. But I have 4 of those, so there's one there, another one there, there's another one there. It's probably hard to see because it's just the vines, and there's a little bit of leaf coming out now, so but it's very small, so you may not be able to see it. And this one was my best one, and as a matter of fact, it's got one of the vines is already going up the fence here, so it's awesome. But a lot of what I have in here is leafy green, because this is their garden. So a lot of burdocks up now. I also have comfrey coming up, which I planted, and I've got more that I'm going to plant in here. There's two varieties. I think the one this in here in the comfrey I have in my other beds. I'll have to get the botanical name for you, but you hear discussion about comfrey. You know, some people say, oh, it doesn't spread, and some say, oh yeah, mine spreads all over the place. There's two varieties. One spreads and the other one does not. So I think I have both now. In that the root I just got recently is the kind that spreads. The one I have in here now and all over, you know, in other places does not. So I'm actually looking forward to getting the spreading invasive kind, if it truly is invasive, as some people say it really goes. So we'll see. Because this is their garden, and you know, I really hope it does propagate well. So I do have some comfrey in here. There's one coming up. There's another. And it was coming up. It should be bigger than it is now, but one of my peacocks got in here and chowed. It's funny, he left the burdock alone and went right for all the little comfrey plants that were up. So they really do choose that plant to eat. I mean, they learn it and they go right for it. So I've got some mixed in here too. Probably a lot of this green that you see on the ground is probably a lot of burdock seed that, although I see some other type weeds in here, but it'll just get suffocated out and it just won't go. So that's from the burdock. A lot of it's from the burdock, but there are some other weeds in here, and once it gets bigger, we'll ID those. But they can eat all that. If I let them in here right now, they would eat all that little stuff that's on the ground there. I also have back here, where all the stalks are, this is Jerusalem artichoke that's in here. And sometimes they dig up the roots. I let them. They chow on the root itself. And the other neat thing about this, and because they're in an open yard like this, I think about safety, you know, from the hawks, which is really their only predator in this yard. So they do have some trees. I've got some pine trees going, but in here, you know, if they're in here eating, the Jerusalem artichoke grows really tall. This is pretty good ground here, so it grows about 10-12 feet tall. It makes like a little forest, and so they come in here and they sit. It's for shade. You know, plant shade like that is really cooling. You know, the trees and plants, you know, respirate, so they throw off cool air, and probably trees more so than plants. But they like to sit in here, and they try to start nests in here, and you know, they just like to hang, and it's a, you know, it's a safe place. You know, they're under cover, and once this gets going, you know, I'll come back out here again certainly, and we'll you know, look at it again. But also this herb here for me is hops, and so I'm trying to take advantage of the fencing in here for some other herbs, and I had a few more planted in here, but they died back, but this one is going pretty strong, and once I let the birds in here, I'm going to have to block this off. Unless the vines get growing really well. They won't eat the vines, but they'll certainly eat the leaves off the vines here. So I want to get going and let the vines get going first before you know, I let them in here. And if they're not going that well yet, when I do let them in here, I'll just block it off. So this is hops, and we'll come out and look at that. And I may harvest from the hops this year. I didn't last year because I still have quite a bit of it that I've tinctured. and I don't use that much of it. So, but maybe we will just to do it, and I can show you how to do that. So anyway, this is their garden, and it's still young yet, so I won't let them in here yet. They would love to get in here because they're pretty much blocked off from the greens right now. I have been picking them bucketfuls of nettles every day, and so they've been chowing on that. But you know, I wish I could let them out on, you know, into the pasture and that, but it's not grown up enough. And what they'll do is, if you let them at it when the plants are too young, you know, they'll pretty much just, you know, gut it, and you know, you won't have anything for it to grow back up, or it'll take a season to revive. So you have to pay attention to how far they eat the plants, and you don't want them to be able to chew it down to the ground, because then it'll have a hard time in bouncing back, and you won't get another harvest out of it for them to eat until the next year. So I wait till, I think, in 8 inches tall, maybe a foot is good. But we'll come back out here and we'll take another look at this, and you know, I'll film it when they come out here and eat, and they are so happy when they can get in here and just chow down, because the herbs in here are really nice. They love the burdock, they're comfrey, and all the other things. There's a lot of other little a plantain is in here. The plantain will be coming up too. Trying to think what else will come up. I think maybe there's some lamb's quarters in here. So there's other herbs that'll spring up in here too. So we'll come back out and visit.